Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. We'll get to tidbits later on and other projects I'm working on. But I wanted to talk about Marriott and what could potentially be a new industry trend that you should be on the lookout for, just because it's potentially disturbing and nobody's really talking about it in the YouTube space just yet, or some bigger channels might be, but whatever. I'm going to talk about it here and we'll see what happens. Marriott's latest brand that is brand new is Studio Res. The Studio Res brand, it was announced what the elite perks for this brand would be, what Marriott members could look forward to, and what they can look forward to is a whole lot of bubkiss. Studio Res is going to be their new build mid-scale extended stay brand. Members are not going to earn elite night credits for their stays at this brand. This means that your status, bonus points associated with your status, any increased benefits with your status, later checkouts, room upgrades, all of that doesn't matter. And earning points at this establishment is going to be lower than average. Now, the lowest points that you typically get at a Marriott property is going to be 5 points per dollar. Now, that's at like Town Place Suites. That's going to be at Sonder Apartments. That's going to be at a couple of other Marriott brands. Now, the hotel brands typically, Loft, the Westin, JW, W Hotels, the Ritz-Carlton, all of those brands should be 10 points per dollar, right? Studio Res is going to be 4 points per dollar. You're not going to get your status reflected. And there really isn't much of a reason being given as to why loyalty members aren't going to get status recognized, why loyalty members aren't going to be able to earn elite nights, or members will be earning elite nights, and why they're justifying the points earning capabilities at these hotels to be as low as they are. Now, we'll have to see what the pricing on these rooms end up being at these hotels. Now, they're planning on launching 35 of these hotels. That is in the pipeline. Most will be starting to open in 2025. They're anticipating 4,037 total rooms. This is coming from Investopedia, so I'm going to put that article in the description as always. But there's no explicit answer from Marriott as to why they're taking this approach. Now, if providing points is that expensive to Marriott, why aren't we seeing more drastic measures being taken at other properties? Is it just because Marriott is going to be starting with a blank slate with the Studio Res concept? Maybe, but then they recently bought Sonder Hotels and Sonder Apartments. But Sonder Apartments are starting at 5 points per dollar. Sonder Hotels are starting at 10 points per dollar. Your status will be reflected. And probably that's because Sonder is a known brand at this point. Maybe future Marriott brands that are brand new from Marriott that they are creating will have these lower earnings and no elite night credits. This could be the beginning of that trend. You could also see other hotel brands start to take on this sort of model where you're going to earn fewer base points per dollar, but you're also not going to earn nights toward status. You're also not going to have your status reflected at these lower tier properties, but they're explicitly saying that this is mid-scale extended stay. They have a bunch of other mid-scale extended stay properties like Residence Inn, Town Place Suites. Spring Hill Suites is a little bit above mid-scale, but like a lot of their properties would fall into mid-scale, right? So if those properties at mid-scale can be mid-scale and give you all of your status, why can't Studio Res? And there's no answer for this from Marriott in the Investopedia article that we've seen. There was nothing I saw in any of the other articles that I read when I first noticed this. It's gone very unstated why Marriott's choosing this direction. It does lead to a concern that Hilton's next brand that they introduce, they could do the same thing. Marriott has announced that Hyatt Studios are coming and Hyatt Selects are coming and could build out new Hyatt Places and Hyatt Houses in addition to Select and Studio. And Select and Studio, there's nothing that prevents those from being 4 times Hyatt points per dollar per stay and no status reflection at those locations either. Maybe they get to all be category 1s and you can use points to stay at them, but you're not going to earn nights. You're not going to have your status reflected. You could do a suite upgrade award, but there's no suite to upgrade you to, and you just get a slightly better room 2 floors up from what you booked. So this isn't a trend yet, but Marriott is the biggest hotel chain on the block, and Marriott just signaled that they're going to test their loyalists and they're going to test their customers with a brand new brand. And most travelers aren't going to pay attention to this at all. It's going to be the folks in the Points and Miles community. It's going to be the folks in the travel hacking community. It's going to be the folks who stay on top of these things that will be in the know. So Marriott is banking on a lot of indifference and a lot of from people. They're signaling they're willing to kick dirt in their loyalists' eyes. And they might get away with it. And if they can kick dirt in their loyalists' eyes, being the biggest hotel brand around, what's to stop Hilton? What's to stop Hyatt? What's to stop IHG? What's to stop I Prefer? What's to stop any of the other programs from having a brand or two that is presented as cost savings to travelers and budget friendly to travelers without extending any benefits to them? You book a stay at Studio Res and you have to pay for breakfast because breakfast isn't going to be included whether or not they don't reflect elite status. Somebody who's Marriott Platinum and just goes, oh, hey, or Marriott Titanium. Oh, hey, this is a really cheap property. I'm not going to be at this location very long. Just one night in a Marriott, keep everything in order, go from there. And then they book, they stay. And when they check in, they realize none of their status matters. They're not going to get a night towards status. They're not going to get anything beyond the 4 points per dollar. They're not going to get, if they book directly with Hyatt, Marriott, they're not going to get anything out of this besides what they paid for. And hopefully they're going to have options that include breakfast. And this assumes that breakfast is even going to be available with booking. Again, this property, the first property, is going to be slated for Fort Myers, and there's still no availability in terms of booking. There's no availability in terms of anything else. All right, no word on anything else. Marriott is very intentionally launching a brand that is kicking dirt in their loyalists' eyes and seeing if they can get away with it. And what's to stop Hilton or Hyatt or IHG or I Prefer or any of the other major programs, Wyndham, from doing the same? It's just something that you should be on the lookout for, and just something that it doesn't sit right. And I'm sure that this will only be with new brands that these companies come out with, because you can't really change you can change the terms and conditions at any time, but it's not like Hyatt was going to immediately go to Hyatt Regency and say, you stay at the Hyatt Regency, you're only going to earn a max of 5 Hyatt points per dollar. Oh, and you can't get any elite nights earned toward status. That would be crazy. You're not going to see Hilton turn around and say, you're only going to earn 3 points per dollar at Embassy Suites, and you're not going to get elite night credits, and your status won't matter here. They're not going to do that with established brands, but they could roll out new brands and start phasing out old brands and doing that. So just something I wanted to highlight, because this feels icky, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just crazy. But I'm going to leave it there. If you like what I do, hit the like, subscribe down below. Check out the pinned comment for ways to support me outside of YouTube. Check out my YouTube membership. It is the Tidbits Collector tier, only status tier here on YouTube. That would be a huge help. Check out the Stack Your Points podcast. I do good stuff on Wednesdays and Fridays here on YouTube, and our full show is on Saturdays. That's going to do it for me. Thanks for watching. I appreciate your time. Bye for now.